The Howlers were created by the Nothing to trade a Looper's soul for the soul of a wolf's. This seemed to regrow the reality tree's vines, possibly so the Nothing could collect it later when it was fully chromed. The Spire Cult was almost like a primal version of the Vault. They protect the in-between from outside darkness. I'd consider them soul keepers. The shadows rose with Midas Shadow in the 2020 Fortnite event. This seems to be a darker, more primitive version of rebooting. The Looper has no control over their soul when they get brought back, and they now follow Midas Shadow's command, and overall, the Nothing. This is the most directly in front of us all this lore has been, and it's a lot to unpack. Bunker Jonesy briefly touches on this in quest dialogue. When researching reboot cards, he seems to randomly refer back to this event, saying, "Keep it quiet, but I don't think the Midas that returned was the same Midas." This doesn't seem to relate to snapshots since, first of all, Midas had been missing, and second, just before that, Bunker Jonesy was talking about how he doesn't trust the reboot cards. It wasn't Midas, it was a soul using Midas's body. Midas had a lot of assets, including henchmen, who were also possessed. As Loopers, I don't think we were possessed, but we would definitely have a grudge to hold. Though I'm not completely denying we weren't possessed. Either option could make sense, but I don't think it's too relevant since we narrowed it down enough. Charlotte has an enchanted spirit in her higher styles. In this style, there is a very evident teal glow and she gains glyphs on her skirt. When her sword is possessed, it also gains this glow, and a withering-like effect. The higher style of her backbling is called Spirit Bloom, and it clearly shows etchings of flowers on it, which is also on many of her other styles. Flowers are only important to Charlotte though. Shanta seems to honor her past generations in a strange way. I mean strange like her family's souls seem to be powering gems that she wears on her armor. Her backbling is called Ancestral Bloom, and her glider is called Enchanted Life Bloom, with the description, Living Memory of Generations Past, which is very direct. Not to mention the glow of Shanta's accessories and gems are also teal like Charlotte. Malik carries on the generational theme with the description, His destiny has been foretold for 1,000 generations. He also carries on the teal theme with his pickaxe, which, much like Charlotte, has runes on it. When you compare Malik to Charlotte and take a look at his backbling, something seems clear. His pickaxe either is or will be possessed by a soul. Also, his backbling has to be hinting at something since it feels too detailed. I personally think this is the Nothing, specifically one of the corrupted souls, trying to take control of someone. But Malik at least takes a portion of that soul to power his pickaxe. Blackheart seems like the first time Fortnite experimented with this concept. In Blackheart's styles, he slowly ages and eventually becomes a living skeleton, and on his stage 5 style, we see the teal glow once again. His contrail is called Phantasm, with the description, Release the spirits of the sea. This could imply that either Blackheart's teal glow was from his own soul, or became a haven for many souls that died at sea. We're getting to that, but first I want to discuss how it relates to the everything. I briefly discussed how souls are able to power the reality tree. This implies they're closely related to the 0 point in some way. Apparently I had a really good guess when the rift butterflies came to mind, because when I looked into it more, it really makes sense for them to be free souls. First of all, Reality Biome Bushranger was able to attract butterflies to power the tree. Second, based on when we first went into the in-between, the rift butterflies have direct ties to it. Considering the Spire Cult seems to be the wardens of the in-between and they protect souls, that's a pretty solid connection. Third, during Chapter 2 Season 6, random butterfly anomalies appeared, which don't feel all too random now. Fourth, the reality biome just generally attracts butterflies, and there was the Zero Bloom, and we already know how flowers are closely related to souls, and this would be why. The reason why the Foundation created the Zero Bloom was to attract butterflies so they could heal the 0 point, but unfortunately it had already destabilized too much. And honorable mention, in many mythologies, butterflies represent souls. There are probably more points I can't think of right now, but just get my point. Now I have to point out how this sudden outbreak of free souls and literally everything caused an imbalance. It wasn't fair to the Nothing, but it also left an opening for the Nothing, because when you have a lot of free souls, the Nothing can take advantage of them. Remember how when we first saw the in-between and the rift butterflies, it was when a cube exploded? It almost feels like we freed that butterfly. That's right, the Nothing uses souls for many things, and that includes the cubes. I also know exactly how they make the cubes, and we saw both ingredients in that event. Of course, one of the ingredients is the rift butterfly, and the other is kinetic ore. It's a possibility that people have been talking about a lot, and I definitely agree that kinetic ore has a strong connection to cubes. Maybe that was a little obvious, even including the Rift Butterfly part, but now I'd like to explain how this relates to Chapter 3, Season 4. Since the Spire Cult or Vault couldn't lock away both the butterflies and the Nothing because the Imagined Order was gone, the reality tree grew and attracted Rift Butterflies. The Nothing saw their chance and they took it. Did you know chrome is actually used to preserve things? Many things you see or use are chrome plated. This aligns with what I think Chrome does in Fortnite. Not only did they capture and preserve the 7 for their own use, I think they did the same with the butterflies. And not all these butterflies will end up as cubes. Sure, the souls are useful for powering cubes, but they're also a part of the Nothing itself. I think the Nothing inhabits the spirit realm, also known as the spectral realm. We all know Condor, right? He seems to follow in the path of the Nothing, even if he seems to help anyone, including IO. Recently, he's made a return as Phantasm. He, as a spirit, needed a new form to fill. His description is a spectral echo in search of his next physical form. His backbling, called the Beyond Portal, has the description, a delicate slash made in the fabric between realms. And finally, his pickaxe, the All-Seeing Scythe, has the description capable of perceiving the spectral realm. I decided to look into the spectral realm. First of all, Charlotte's rap is called Spectral Hunter, which I guess is just a cooler way of saying Ghost Hunter. Second, there's also a spectral scythe pickaxe with a teal glow from Deadeye's set, and a spectral essence contrail from Deadfire's set. Deadeye also has the teal glow all over him, with effects comparable to Condor's. But what really caught my eye is the spectral essence contrail's description, which states, remnants from the other side. Chances are, if you watch my videos on the Nothing's connection to Save the World, your interest is piqued. Mine definitely was. In Save the World, someone named Carlos got pulled into a rift, which led him to the Nothing's realm, which he calls the other side. This solidifies the connection between the spectral realm and the Nothing. But there's even more. Dark Jonesy acts as an oracle by communicating with the spirit realm. He says that the Sideways block the spirit realm. The Sideways don't want the spirits to escape the Nothing's grasp. This confirms the spirit realm is real and relevant, and it seems to be where the Nothing resides. The Spire Assassin's description states, guardian of a world beyond reality. We already know this relates to how they keep the Nothing away from innocent souls. But then there's the Cube Queen's description, which states, terror from a world beyond reality. So far, we've only looked at the Nothing overall, but what about their most well-known members? It's intriguing to think the Cube Queen is from the spirit realm, and it opens us up to some interesting lore. This implies that the Cube Queen died, likely unfairly, and she had a vengeance. A vengeance that only the Nothing could endorse. They gave her power as long as she would work for them, which she seemed to do happily, probably out of spite for how she died. Then she would return, which is interesting, right? In her anthem, she says that this was her return. I think this could mean she had a past related to the island, or the people on the island. Most of my friends could probably already tell I'm trying my best not to say the Cube Queen is Singularity, or Desiree, or even the original Cube. But that's kinda because she could be anyone, including a completely original character. I personally like to think she's related to the Ice Kingdom though. Maybe not that she was specifically a part of it, but maybe she was sort of like the prisoner. I find it quite likely that during a fight she died, and with her potential the Nothing called out to her. Based on previous evidence, you would assume she's possessed by one or more souls, but the Cube Queen seems like a single one. She just commands many souls. I'm pretty sure the Sideways and Cube monsters are corrupted souls. With all the evidence I've gathered, that seems a little obvious. I'd also like to add my little overanalyzation of how the Cube Queen seemed to summon a caretaker from where she dropped the remains of the butterfly she crushed. If you look at the Cube Queen's backbling and pickaxe, you can see similar effects to the Spire Assassins, which makes me think she can channel the energy of souls similar to how the Howlers did. We can also see this in action during the end event when she creates a wall of cubes and summons caretakers. During that event, we could also see her open a golden rift. Considering she also has a golden cube, I'd guess that gold color means royalty, which gives her more power and, of course, status. Now let's look at the Herald. It was always strange how she took an appearance similar to the reality trees. I think it's because she works in a similar way. Maybe she uses the chrome to capture people, to use their souls to make herself stronger. She literally uses chrome to heal herself and give herself a temporary form. She merged with the reality tree to take its power, and most people think she's still out there, stronger than ever. So far we haven't seen her do much with the souls she has collected though. That's about it though. Tell me what you think in the comments. Anyways, have a pie, and goodbye.